Car crashes have tragically claimed countless lives, but some accidents stand out for their sheer horror and impact. This list dives into the most disturbing car crash deaths of all time, stories that shock, sadden, and remind us how fragile life can be behind the wheel. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was more than just a NASCAR driver. He was a living legend. Known as the Intimidator, his fearless driving style and relentless competitiveness made him one of the most iconic figures in motorsports history. On February 18, 2001, during the final lap of the Daytona 500, tragedy struck that not only shocked the racing world but forever changed the future of NASCAR safety. As the race reached its climax, Earnhardt was running third, tucked tightly behind the leaders. The speed was blistering, cars pushing beyond 180 miles per hour as they battled for victory. In those final moments, Earnhardt's car made contact with Sterling Marlin's vehicle, which unsettled his steering. Simultaneously, Michael Waltrip and Ken Schrader were in the thick of the pack just ahead. Earnhardt's car then veered sharply to the right and slammed headfirst into the outside wall in turn 4. The impact was violent and immediate, leaving Earnhardt motionless behind the wheel. Emergency crews responded swiftly, but despite their best efforts, Dale Earnhardt was pronounced dead from a basilar skull fracture, a fatal injury to the base of the skull caused by the violent motion of the crash. At 49 years old, the loss of a driver so beloved by fans and peers alike was a devastating blow to the sport. The moment was broadcast live, and millions watched in stunned silence as news of his death spread. Earnhardt's passing marked the first death of a driver in a NASCAR Cup Series race in over a decade, and reminded everyone just how perilous high-speed racing can be. In the wake of Earnhardt's tragic death, NASCAR faced a reckoning about driver safety. The sport immediately launched investigations into the crash and safety measures in place at the time. One of the most glaring issues was the absence of widespread use of the head and neck support device, which was designed to prevent fatal head and neck injuries during crashes. Earnhardt was among many drivers who had not adopted this safety technology, which today is mandatory in nearly every major racing series around the world. NASCAR also accelerated the development and installation of safer barriers, specialized walls that absorb and reduce the force of impacts when cars collide with the track boundaries. Prior to this, many tracks had unforgiving concrete walls that offered little protection. In addition, the cars themselves underwent significant redesigns, including better seat harnesses and improved roll cages to increase driver protection. NASCAR also improved medical response protocols and emergency training for track personnel to ensure faster and more effective treatment in the event of crashes. The culture around safety shifted dramatically, with drivers, teams, and officials embracing these changes not just as necessary precautions, but as vital elements of the sport's future. These reforms were instrumental in preventing fatal crashes and have been credited with saving many lives in the years since. Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s death became a turning point in NASCAR history, sparking a legacy that extends far beyond his racing achievements. His loss was deeply felt by fans, fellow drivers, and the entire motorsport community, but it also ignited a commitment to prioritize driver safety like never before. Since the implementation of these safety measures, NASCAR has remarkably gone without a driver fatality in its top 3 national series, a testament to the effectiveness of the reforms that followed. Earnhardt's legacy now lives on not only in the records he set and the unforgettable moments he created on the track, but in every driver whose life has been protected because of the lessons learned from his tragic crash. The 2001 Daytona 500 was more than just a race. It was a pivotal moment where the sport came face to face with its vulnerabilities and chose to evolve. Honoring Dale Earnhardt means remembering the cost of pushing the limits and recognizing the progress made to keep those limits from becoming deadly. His story serves as a sober reminder of the risks drivers face and the continuous need for innovation in safety. In the end, Dale Earnhardt's legacy is one of both greatness and hope, a reminder that even in tragedy, there can be a powerful drive toward a safer, better future in racing. Anton Yelchin's tragic death in 2016 sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, serving as a sobering reminder of how even everyday objects like a car can unexpectedly become deadly. Yelchin, a talented young actor beloved for his role as Pavel Chekhov in the modern Star Trek films, lost his life in what seemed at first glance to be a bizarre and tragic accident right outside his own home in Studio City, California. On the afternoon of June 19, 2016, Yelchin was pinned between his own 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee and a brick mailbox pillar after the vehicle mysteriously rolled backward down his steep driveway. It was a low-speed, silent incident that ended a promising life at just 27 years old. The heartbreaking nature of this accident was not just in the loss of such a bright star, but also in the strange circumstances that made it possible. The Jeep Grand Cherokee involved was one of the vehicles under recall due to a serious safety defect related to its gear selector design. Unlike traditional shifters, this Jeep model featured a monostable electronic gear shifter, a shift-by-wire system that always returned to a central position after changing gears, rather than staying visibly set on park, reverse, or drive. This unusual design caused confusion among drivers, who might believe the car was safely parked when in fact it was still in gear and capable of rolling away. In Yelchin's case, investigators concluded that the vehicle rolled back down the incline of his driveway after he exited, trapping him between the car and the mailbox. The official cause of death was blunt traumatic asphyxia, a condition resulting from the crushing force that prevented him from breathing. The situation was made worse by the fact that the Jeep's recall for the gear selector issue had been issued just a couple of months prior to the accident. The recall affected over 1 million Jeep Grand Cherokees and Dodge Durangos, but many owners, including Yelchin, had not yet had the chance to get the problem fixed. This tragic timing added a layer of frustration and sadness to the case. The accident brought intense scrutiny to Jeep's design choices and raised broader questions about vehicle safety standards. Many critics and safety advocates pointed to the confusing gear selector as a major factor that had already led to multiple rollaway incidents before Yelchin's death. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration had investigated and pushed for recalls, but incidents kept happening, spotlighting how critical timely communication and repairs are in preventing tragedies. Beyond the technical and legal aspects, Yelchin's death was deeply felt by fans, friends, and family. He was known not only for his charismatic performances on screen, but also for his kindness and creative spirit. Tributes poured in from colleagues across the entertainment industry who mourned the loss of a young actor who had so much more to offer. His parents later filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Fiat Chrysler, the parent company of Jeep, arguing that the company's negligence regarding the recall contributed to their son's death. The lawsuit was settled confidentially in 2018, but the case highlighted the broader implications of corporate responsibility when it comes to product safety. Yelchin's death was a wake-up call that vehicle technology, especially newer electronic systems, must be designed with clarity and safety as paramount. It also underscored the importance of swift action when safety defects are discovered. Though no legal settlement or recall can bring him back, the tragedy sparked increased awareness about the potential dangers lurking in modern car designs, pushing manufacturers and regulators to rethink how they communicate risks to consumers. Ultimately, Anton Yelchin's passing was a profound loss to the world of film and an important, if painful, lesson in automotive safety. While his roles on screen remain a lasting legacy of his talent, the circumstances of his death remind us that progress in technology must always be matched with vigilance and care. Behind the headlines and investigations is a young man whose life was cut far too short, one whose story continues to resonate as both a tribute and a cautionary tale. Diogo Jota's sudden death in July 2025 sent shockwaves through the football world and beyond. Known for his incredible speed, skill, and knack for scoring crucial goals, Jota was not just a Liverpool star, but also a beloved figure in Portuguese football. The tragedy unfolded on the A52 motorway in Spain, where Jota was driving a Lamborghini Huracan with his younger brother, Andre Silva. They were returning to England after a brief trip following Jota's recent lung surgery, which had prevented him from flying. Tragically, their journey ended abruptly when a tire on the Lamborghini suddenly blew out while overtaking another vehicle. The car lost control, crashed into the roadside embankment, and burst into flames. Both brothers died instantly at the scene. Investigations later revealed that Jota was driving above the speed limit at the time, a factor that likely contributed to the severity of the crash. Despite his young age of 28, Diogo's life and career were cut short in a heartbreaking accident that underscored the dangers of high-speed driving, especially on unfamiliar roads. The loss was felt deeply by Liverpool FC, his teammates, fans worldwide, and the broader football community. Tributes poured in from every corner, Players, managers, and fans alike mourned the passing of a player whose talent had already made a lasting impact. Beyond the headlines and shock, the accident highlighted the fragile nature of life and how quickly it can change. Jota had been in the prime of his career, recently celebrating milestones with Liverpool and the Portuguese national team. His younger brother Andre, aged 25, was also a rising footballer with a promising future. Their deaths served as a painful reminder of how even the brightest stars can be suddenly extinguished. Liverpool honored Jota by retiring his number 20 shirt, and his boyhood club in Gondomar paid tribute with a special kit to remember both brothers. The tragedy brought the football world together in grief, but also in celebration of the joy and passion Jota brought to the game. While his career was tragically brief, his legacy as a gifted player and beloved teammate will not be forgotten. The story of Diogo Jota is a solemn reflection on talent, loss, and the unpredictable turns life can take, a reminder to cherish every moment on and off the pitch. Ayrton Senna was more than just a Formula One driver. He was a legend whose name still echoes in the racing world decades after his untimely death. Known for his extraordinary talent, relentless determination, and passion for speed, Senna was widely regarded as one of the greatest racing drivers in history. Born in Brazil, he rose quickly through the ranks of motorsport, capturing the imagination of fans around the world with his exceptional skill and fearless driving style. He won 3 Formula One World Championships and was revered not only for his speed, but also for his focus, precision, and ability to perform under immense pressure. The 1994 San Marino Grand Prix was meant to be another milestone in his remarkable career, but turned into a heartbreaking tragedy that shocked the entire world. The weekend was already overshadowed by the death of Austrian driver Roland Ratzenberger in qualifying, a grim reminder of the sport's inherent dangers. Despite the somber mood, the race went ahead with Senna determined to push for victory. As he drove his Williams FW16 around the Imola circuit, Senna was focused on the task ahead, unaware that this race would be his last. On the 7th lap of the race, disaster struck at the high-speed Tamburello corner, one of the most challenging sections of the Imola circuit. Senna's car suddenly left the racing line and crashed into the concrete wall at a speed estimated around 135 miles per hour. The impact was severe and instantly raised alarms across the paddock. The crash caused a piece of the suspension to break off and strike Senna's helmet, resulting in fatal head injuries. Medical teams responded quickly, and Senna was rushed to a nearby hospital, but despite the best efforts, he was pronounced dead a few hours later. The news sent shockwaves throughout the motorsport community and beyond. Ayrton Senna was not just a racing champion. He was a national hero in Brazil and an inspiration to millions around the globe. His death marked one of the darkest days in Formula One history and forced the sport to confront its safety shortcomings in a very urgent way. The tragedy highlighted how dangerous racing could be even for the most skilled and experienced drivers, and sparked a series of changes that transformed Formula One forever. In the years following Senna's death, Formula One implemented major safety reforms aimed at preventing such tragedies from happening again. Circuits were redesigned to include more runoff areas and safer barriers, and car designs were improved to provide better protection to drivers during crashes. New regulations were introduced to enhance the structural integrity of racing cars and improve driver safety equipment. Beyond the technical changes, Senna's passing inspired a cultural shift within the sport, emphasizing the importance of safety alongside competition. His legacy extends beyond his remarkable achievements on the track. He was also known for his humanitarian work and his efforts to help underprivileged children in Brazil. Ayrton Senna's life and death left an indelible mark on Formula One and motorsport as a whole. While his death was a heartbreaking loss, it became a catalyst for progress that has saved many lives since. Senna remains an enduring symbol of excellence, passion, and courage, a reminder of both the risks and rewards of pushing the limits in the pursuit of greatness. Pelle Lindbergh was more than just a hockey player. He was a rising star and a trailblazer from Sweden who had made a significant mark in the NHL as the Philadelphia Flyers goaltender. By 1985, at only 26 years old, Pelle had already reached the pinnacle of his career, winning the Vezina Trophy as the league's best goalie, a remarkable achievement for any player, and especially for one so young and far from home. His style was confident and dynamic, earning him respect from teammates, opponents, and fans alike. The hockey world saw him as a promising talent with a bright future ahead, yet behind the glitz of professional sports and accolades, Pelle's life was not without its struggles. On the night of November 9, 1985, after a Flyers team party, Pelle left with two friends, driving his powerful Porsche 930 Turbo through the quiet streets of Somerdale, New Jersey. Tragically, Pelle had consumed alcohol that evening, and his blood alcohol level was later measured at .24, well above the legal limit. Around 5:41 a.m. on November 10th, Pelle lost control of his car as he was driving on the wet road, causing the vehicle to spin and strike a guardrail before crashing head-on into a wall near an elementary school. The impact was devastating. Pelle suffered severe head injuries and was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Despite the medical team's best efforts, Pelle was declared brain dead within hours. His family made the heartbreaking decision to take him off life support the following day, November 11, 1985. The news of Pelle Lindbergh's death sent shockwaves through the NHL and beyond. Here was a young man at the height of his career taken far too soon, leaving teammates, friends, and fans devastated. Lindbergh was the first European-born goalie to win the Vezina Trophy, and he had become a symbol of international talent breaking through in a North American sport. His loss was not just personal for those who knew him, it was a profound loss for the hockey community and the sport itself. Pelle's death also brought difficult conversations about the dangers of drinking and driving, especially among athletes who face high-pressure lives and intense schedules. The tragedy underscored the risks and consequences of impaired driving, a message that resonates strongly to this day. The two passengers in the car survived, but sustained serious injuries, and their accounts added further weight to the tragedy. In the aftermath of the crash, the Flyers and the entire hockey world grappled with the loss of a player who was admired not only for his talent, but also for his warmth and character off the ice. In response to this tragic event, the Philadelphia Flyers honored Pelle Lindbergh's memory in several ways. His number 31 was retired, ensuring that no other Flyer would wear that number again. The team also established the Pelle Lindbergh Memorial Trophy, awarded annually to the most improved player, keeping his legacy alive within the organization. For fans and teammates alike, Pelle's spirit remains a poignant reminder of both incredible talent and the fragility of life. The story of Pelle Lindbergh is not just about a talented goalie or a tragic accident. It is about the intersection of promise and vulnerability, the highs of athletic achievement shadowed by the realities of human frailty. It reminds us that behind every helmet and jersey is a person with hopes, struggles, and sometimes devastating mistakes. Though Pelle's career and life were cut short, his impact endures. His pioneering presence as a European star in the NHL opened doors for many who followed, and his memory continues to inspire players and fans. The hockey world still remembers Pelle Lindbergh not just for the saves he made or the games he won, but for the life that was tragically lost too soon and the lessons left behind.